the Overnight Underground podcast. Here's the headlines. Lockdown protests continue in the U.S. and worldwide. Trump targets the media again. Stocks and oil open lower. Half of L.A. unemployed. And Vegas looks to open back up. These stories and more coming up on today's Overnight Underground News. I'm John Ford. The anti-lockdown protests spread over the weekend, with the largest demonstrations in Colorado. Healthcare workers clashed outside the state capitol, standing in front of protesters' vehicles in Denver. But the protesting wasn't all just alleged right-wing wackadoodles. In Encino, California, protesters defied a stay-at-home order to block traffic and yell at cars over the closing of beaches and walking paths.
Open our beach! Open our beach! Open our beach! Open our beach! Open our beach!
Emboldened with signs that said, "Surfing is not a crime," and "Open up the beach, dude," the alleged left-wing wackadoodles blocked streets and undoubtedly smoked some righteous weed.
No potty stories.
People are getting pissed about being trapped inside their homes by a government that many feel is completely out of touch with the lives of everyday Americans, whoever they may be. State governors may be in for quite a mess trying to herd the cats, that is, citizens, and kickstart the economy back into gear. And of course, Trump, as usual, isn't helping. Tweeting "liberate" messages for Minnesota, Michigan, and Virginia, where extended stay-at-home orders and other restrictions are tendering the backlash. What is he thinking? Who the hell knows? But having a president at the height of a national crisis tweeting about anti-government messages might not be the best course of action. Hey, we get it, Mr. Trump. Creating mayhem from the political divide got you elected. This November, though, it might not be the best strategy to keep you in office. The left, they're still going to hate you like a rabid dog despises water. And your nutty base will stay right by your side. As for the normal Americans, whoever they are, they've gotten used to it by now, and they'll probably just stay home. Here's our clip of the day, and it's from none other than President Trump, taken from one of his press conferences over the weekend.
Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused.
What was it in context to? Who cares? What was it about? Does it matter?
No.
Are you aroused?
No.
Didn't think so. President Trump once again used his coronavirus press conferences, yes, that's a plural, to slam his enemies. Chief among those combatants, the press.
So report accurately, because you are one of the most inaccurate reporters.
Mr. Trump responding to a CBS News reporter regarding New York Governor Cuomo's alleged praise of the federal coronavirus response. The Trumpster also took potshots at governors who he feels are overreaching their state's lockdowns. And he defended the man in the boat.
I really believe somebody sitting in their boat in a lake should be okay. They shouldn't arrest people. Some of them are being unreasonable. I really believe that. But I think Virginia's a great case, though, because they're using this. They're trying to take your guns away in Virginia. And if people in Virginia aren't careful, that's what's going to happen to them.
From the You're Not Helping department comes this news that an Idaho state representative, Heather Scott, has compared the Idaho lockdowns to Nazi Germany. It seems that Goodwin's Law is always in play. Scott compared the lockdown measures to Nazi concentration camps during World War II on a podcast interview.
And when you have government telling you that your business is essential or non-essential, and another one, yours is non-essential and someone else's is essential, we have a problem there. I mean, that's no different than Nazi Germany, where you had government telling people you are an essential worker or a non-essential worker, and the non-essential workers got put on a train.
This lawmaker makes some interesting constitutional points in the interview, but invoking Hitler, it immediately gets you tagged as reaching for low-hanging fruit. But then again, we're just dealing with another politician here, so take it with a grain of salt. Meanwhile, in Paris, police fought running battles with rioters in northern suburbs who were accusing the cops of using heavy-handed tactics to enforce the French coronavirus lockdown. The residents burnt cars and shot fireworks at police.
Oh mon Dieu!
And in Cape Town, there has been rioting and looting as the country records 1,000 deaths from coronavirus. The Sun reports looters raided shops, attacked police, the army, and each other. South Africa has had one of the strictest lockdowns in the world during the coronavirus pandemic. The looting follows widespread food shortages across the country. South Africa has also imposed restrictions on sales of, quote, non-essential items. This includes the banning of the sale of alcohol and cigarettes. No wonder they're pissed. Cold turkey from nicotine? No food? No booze? Someone airdropped some ramen, Luckies, and Castle Lager stat. Both oil and stocks opened down Monday over fears of shrinking energy demand. The Dow was down over 300 points at the opening of the exchange, and oil stocks declined as well. Is anyone really surprised? The whole damn country, hell, practically the whole world is locked down. No one's flying or driving. Call me shocked over this news. And I'm just going to leave this here. The Sun reports that in Los Angeles, over half the population is unemployed. 1 month into a lockdown, half the damn population of LA is unemployed. This according to a study by the University of Southern California. Canada has had one of its worst mass shootings in Canadian history over the weekend, with at least 17 dead. It seems a dental technician donned a police uniform and drove a car he disguised as a police cruiser, then went on a shooting rampage in northern Nova Scotia. The shooter, 51-year-old Gabriel Wortman, was killed by officers in Enfield, Nova Scotia. I hate to say it, but this is what happens when you cancel hockey in Canada. Well, here's some good news.
Rockin' good news.
It looks like they're trying to reopen Vegas by Memorial Day. Gambling, booze, strippers, and hookers for everyone. Woo-hoo! New Zealand is set to start releasing the lockdown come the end of the month. Kiwis will be able to order takeout. Wow. Go to work if they can't work from home, and soon lift a pint at the Prancing Pony. Meanwhile, in jolly old England, things will not get jolly in the pub until at least Christmas. The Sun reports that pubs, according to the government, will be among the last things to exit the lockdown. Bastards. That One World concert thingy with all the pop stars playing their hit via home video feed over the weekend, the one that you didn't watch, was Trump-free. According to Save the Democracy's Twitter feed, whoever they are, President Trump asked Lady Gaga if she could be part of the event, and allegedly Lady Gaga said, "No." And,
"Shut the f*** up, Donnie."
So much for the tolerant left. Still, my favorite moment from the evening was Sir Elton John singing his hit, "I'm Dill Dannin'," from his garden.
I'm still Dannin'. Yeah, Danny, yeah. I'm still Dannin'. Yeah, Danny, yeah.
You know, we haven't heard a performance that heartfelt since Linda McCartney sang, "Hey Dude."
N-E-W-S.
A mostly correct and occasionally incomplete transcript and links to reference sources and articles of this Overnight Underground can be found at overnightunderground.com.